I'm not the best talker about myself.
You're not. No, dude, you're great. Trust me, we're all like fascinated.
Yeah, I'm speechless.
Yes, yes, but um, when did you start playing with ropes?
Like I was saying, kind of really early on, not
Mm.
really understanding what it was, but my dad was an interrogator in Vietnam, and
Now it's
then
all
he
coming
later
full
taught
circle.
interrogation.
Yeah.
So he was interrogator and forced recon and a sniper.
Wow.
So from there,
And
I
kinky.
saw a bunch of stuff. Yeah. I saw books on interrogation and bondage and things like that, and was kind of blown away by it and found it intriguing. So that kind of added to the way that I tie.
I gotta read these books. Is there a specific book you can recommend? I'll see if it's on Audible.
I was just gonna say that.
No, seriously, is there like a book like that you saw?
I don't think you should learn from books personally.
Okay,
I think
all
that
right.
people should learn from other people because there are things about working with the body that you can't learn from a book, in my opinion.
Right.
No, you're right. You're right.
But you can be inspired by a book, and you can be inspired by imagery.
Right.
But then try to emulate it, you need to have some experience, I think.
I guess my question is like, did your straight A's in anatomy and your straight A's in mathematics, like what did it take for you to switch that into like, this is how I'm gonna play with these needles and this bondage? Like,
well, I have a feeling that you weren't an A student, that you were like you were so bored because you knew probably more than everybody else. You were probably a B minus, C plus sort of student.
Yeah, exactly.
Your mind was elsewhere. You were thinking how to tie up the teacher and suspend her and all that, right?
Yeah, that's more like what it was.
Yeah. So
but I like studying a lot of different things. So yes, I like to study and learn all the time about a lot of different things.
Right.
And then those things go into what I do and what I create. So
right.
yeah, in a way.
So you do like sit down and kind of like conceive and like work on an idea.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
And you try to defy things in your head and defy them using the human body.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I was gonna say there has to be trial and error, and you're a human being. What are some mistakes you may have made? One mistake that you may have made that.
Around what? Because I've made mistakes around a lot.
Well, let's say suspension.
Problem. Man, I don't know.
Okay, needles, rope, whatever. Is there something like?
Well, I think trying to do something that might be beyond your actual abilities too soon is always a mistake. And I know that I've made that mistake thinking I had more skill than I actually had, and then, somehow messing it up. But then it's also how you deal with that mess up, the middle of the mess up, and how you recover from that. Yeah. So that way you can do no harm. That being the ultimate goal, right? I like to hurt people. I don't like to harm people.
That's profound. Because I thought, I was thinking like maybe like you suspended somebody and then forgot he was there and just left and didn't take him down.
Nothing like that. Maybe one thing that comes to mind now that you say it in that way, I was doing a performance with somebody and we set it all up and I checked all the gear and checked the suspension points and everything, and then the venue and the people putting on the event decided they wanted to move the suspension apparatus. So they moved the apparatus to a different place, to a different stage, and then said, "Oh, hey, you're over here now. Go up and perform." And I went up there, but
obviously not knowing what it takes to do this.
Yeah, I didn't recheck everything. The first time I checked everything, but then this time it was get up there, get up on stage, go, you're now.
Right.
And I went up there and I didn't check everything. So the suspension apparatus hadn't been completely bolted down, and it slipped as we were rigging things into place. So we recovered by readjusting all the ropes and everything, and then not fully suspending her after that.
Okay.
Is there anything that you haven't tried? It seems like you're like the master of everything when it comes to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Or something that you would like to try, like a part of the long list of things that a BSM performer can do. Like, sometimes when you master things, you're just like,
And he's looking at you with a devilish grin too. He's
what
got things
else?
in mind
What
for
else?
you.
What else? Oh, well,
Just say it. What do you want to do with
What would you
Hannah
like to
and
do?
M'Penzi? Let's just say it right now.
Well, I like to say that I have a big menu. And if you pick anything from my menu, I'm going to enjoy it.
Okay.
So I like to do the things I like to do. I like to do things that people enjoy doing, and I like to do things that people want to experiment with, because I like the energy exchange of the people who I'm playing with. So,
well, let's spin it around. What do you want to do?
That needle play is definitely top to me.
And that's about to happen.
Yeah, like, yeah. So, like,
any advice that you have, Damon?
For the submissive, because I'm going with this person who I trust her clearly, but like for the sub, I guess, like,
think about aftercare for yourself.
Yeah.
So be prepared for aftercare, because you don't know where you're going to be, where your headspace is going to be. Not just your physical body will be, because you will have wounds, but also your headspace. And then also prepare for it. So drink water, prepare your body, be alert, be aware that you are going to do something that is going to cause trauma, and that it's going to, be something for you to experience.
Okay.
You might not know what's going to happen when you experience this, but something's going to happen.
Right. That sounds about right for like every piercing I've had. Like,
Right.
Plus.
But this is going a little beyond the piercing, isn't it?
Yes.
And then for it to be in public as well.
Yeah.
So being prepared for all of those elements.
Yeah. I said that I want this to be realistic as fuck to a curator, to both of the curators that I've spoken to about the.
Well, it's not going to be realistic. They're sticking needles in you.
I mean, yeah, it's.
Can't get more
that's
real.
as real, yeah.
Yeah, well.
Hashtag real AF. That's pretty real.
You know, to the point where I definitely I've admitted to myself that like I might scream.
Yes.
Like in front of a bunch of people. Like I might have to. When I get into subspace, I'm very.
Shit, when I see it, I might scream.
I mean,
Oh,
go
and
for
that
it.
too.
For
The way
it.
other people react might
go
be
for it.
something that will lead
I hadn't thought
into
about
your
that.
reaction.
Yeah, I hadn't thought
And that's
about
what I mean by it's a public space. You're doing this in public, so be prepared that people will react.
Yeah.
I've had people pass out when doing shows before, and so you
I
need
can
to be
see that.
prepared
Yeah,
for
that
that.
makes sense.
And maybe potentially have somebody in the audience who might be able to help them if they pass out. Because otherwise you're going to be on stage going, oh my God, please, I need to help that person.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Yeah, and I do.
Right.
I'm a service. I do service.
Yeah.
Service stuff.
And you're putting on this performance, so you will
okay.
feel that this has something to do with you, that it happened.
Right.
So that would be traumatic for you.
That's great.
I
This
am gonna
must
make sure
happen
that
all
it's
the
on
time.
It has happened, absolutely.
On the Facebook that it says.
What's that?
I'm gonna make sure on the Facebook that it says like, know what you're expecting for sure. Like,
Right.
And go ahead and let the thank you and let the gallery know to put the notice out as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And maybe just inform a friend of yours or somebody who can be there as a safety if they see something like that happening, where they can deal with the person.
Yeah, totally okay with that.
Yeah, you got to make sure that. I mean, I would assume. I just know for myself doing comedy, which is nothing. Nobody's passed out during my show. Well, no. They were really drunk, but it was.
It can happen, yeah.
But there's nothing I can do about it. I have to do my thing. So
I have to keep going.
Yeah, and people. Not only that. I mean, I'm sure there's been other reactions. People have probably booed you. People have probably said, heckled you, said bad things, and.
I don't recall.
No.
Or feel like anybody has ever booed or anything like that, but they do try to like egg on.
They get they get
like,
grossed out or they egg on.
Pierce harder, or more blood, or things
Oh,
like
really?
that. Yeah.
I've heard that in crowds before.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
Yeah, that kind of heckling, and doms need to stay in dom space.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Absolutely.
That's really rude. It's really fucked.
Yeah.
And some need to stay in their space too.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
you just gotta shut everybody out.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing about performing in public, and that's why I say
Yeah.
you're performing in public, so be aware of this element.
I broke and scene with Mina Nietzsche when we did a scene at El Cid one time, and like I just mentally know how I look, and I just felt that break, and it was kind of like a connection between being watched and then the scene.
Well, that was outside. That was outside too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
great.
weird. El Cid's a weird. You know El Cid.
Oh yeah.
It's a weird space because it's outside.
Yeah.
I think inside's probably better for this type of thing.
I don't know. I do like doing things in nature, so if I have my choice, then I prefer to do things blood related in nature.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah. And I've got like a really weird bloody image right now. But speaking of nature, and